Today's question is, have you ever had an opportunity to talk to 9 groups of 6th, 7th, and 8th graders in 10-minute blocks, talking about podcasting and choosing a topic or narrowing a niche? No? Well, that's exactly what I did on Tuesday at Gateway Charter School in Wilmington for their 2023 Career Day. Let me tell you, it was an experience. It was fun, but it was also exhausting. You can check out a few of the pictures on my social media page. And so today, episode 330, I'm going to piggyback onto that day, and we're going to talk about narrow your niche. And I'm also going to give you a lot of popular niche topics that you can use if you're thinking about starting a podcast. Now, again, I'm talking to these kids and I'm explaining to them that when they're thinking about choosing a topic or a niche, the ones that have raised their hands and said they wanted to start a podcast, I made sure that they gave me some good answers. There were some wild ones as well. But I reminded them that the topic that they chose or the niche that they chose has to be something that they're going to enjoy talking about, because they're going to be doing it week after week, month after month, and hopefully year after year. Now, I asked several of them to share the topics of interest, and the answers range from gaming to rappers, murder mysteries, and even cucumbers. Yep, cucumbers. That student said she loved cucumbers. And for someone like me who loves salad recipes, I told her that I would probably listen to her show. But I think, she was really teasing me. She just didn't want to give me a good answer. But there are great podcasts on food, including veggies. So, it might be a good podcast. So if you're thinking about starting a podcast and you haven't narrowed your niche, or you're still thinking about your topic, one that you're going to be talking about week after week, month after month, and year after year, I'm going to give you a few to think about starting. Number one, personal finance, right? Personal finance is a great topic, especially for today's youth. It's never, ever too early to start thinking about saving for retirement, especially when you're starting a job, or even if you've been with one for several years. I know we got talking about cryptocurrency and NILs, but basic savings is vital. It's a great topic for everyone. Basic financial knowledge is important, and these topics within that niche can range from budgeting to balancing your account, which is something, let me tell you, my son is very good at doing. Now, another popular podcasting topic is investments, and this also is part of, or could be part of the personal finance topic, because talking about ways to invest is something that I wish I knew when I was younger, because I definitely would have purchased stock in Apple and Microsoft and many others. And I'll probably wish I never sold my stock in McDonald's and Disney. Yep, I had it, but I sold it. So getting back to the personal finances, that is something that you really, really need to think about. Boy, oh boy, I graduated from Delaware State College. Yes, it was a college back in 1983 with a bachelor's in education. I also left with a lot of credit card debt. So learning how to stay away from debt, or getting out of debt, or saving money is a great topic, especially for college students. And you could actually roll personal financing, investing, and getting out of debt all in one, in that personal finance or investment podcast topic. Now, another great podcast topic, even if you're talking about investing, and speaking of investing, being frugal is another great topic. Thrifting, being thrifty. Yep. Did you know that my first blog, DEDivadeals.com, Fashion and Fun After 50, was a podcast about thrifting? Yep. It was a great way to not only, share the things that I thrifted, or how I consigned, but how to do so and parlay that into sales. People are doing that now on Etsy and ThreadUp. There are some popular consignments, online consignment shops that you could do just by thrifting on a regular. So that's another great topic or niche. Entrepreneurship, right? Entrepreneurship is a wonderful and another great popular niche. You can literally talk about everything from starting a business to growing a business. It could be whatever kind of business you are interested in. You can, talk about things that you should do, could do, would do, and things that you shouldn't do, couldn't do, or wouldn't do as a new business owner. Another great topic, real estate. Yes, going back to the investment. I have interviewed many realtors on my Out and About with Antoinette podcast. That's every Wednesday at 1. Don't forget that one too. And they have dropped some great nuggets and gems. So if you're a realtor, a podcast would be perfect to add to your marketing toolkit because you can teach people about the ups and downs, the ins and outs of purchasing, working on their personal finances, especially if they're budgeting for purchasing their first home. You could share tips on how to flip a house, scams to be aware of, what to look for if it's your first home, reselling, renting. There are just so many topics. You can literally do a podcast on some of those HG TV programs, right? Because you can evaluate them. You can talk about them on a weekly basis. Remember, this is a long game, and that's content forever. Everything from starting from this old house to flip it, flip the house, or what's that other show I love? The Lottery Dream House. I love, love, love that show. Travel. Yes, we're coming in on the travel season. That's another great topic. And you can actually niche that down. You can narrow the niche of traveling by just talking about family travel, solo travel, traveling with kids, traveling with friends, or just traveling by yourself. And you know what else is popular I just heard about? Traveling with AI. That's right. Artificial intelligence, not AI Iverson, from the Sixers, but AI. That's becoming popular. And you can talk about traveling to specific parts of the world, North America, South America, Africa, any place that you visited. You know what? You can even do a podcast about your local town, your city, or your state. You can talk about some exciting things to do in those areas, whether you like cruising or backpacking or hiking. You watch Saturday Night Live? Okay. Then last Saturday was a cute skit. Yeah, I know there was a lot of good skits, but the one I want to talk about is the one that they did a spoof about places to eat if you live in New York and you want authentic food. And the guys that would go into these restaurants with this authentic food, they would just wanted bland food. They had no idea how to really relish and how to really enjoy authentic food. And it was a funny spoof. So something like that would be cool. So if you want to target in on Asian food, or, if you want to target in on Italian food, or the best restaurants that has Jamaican food. I mean, there's so many topics that you can deal with when it comes to foods. And talking about a city guide would be a great podcast. Whether you live in California, Atlanta, or New York, there's a lot of exciting places to visit in those cities. And if you live there, you would be the perfect city guide. So these are just a few topics and niches that you can narrow down if you're thinking about starting your own podcast. And again, I'm not going to really get into what the students came up with, but we did talk about fashion and hair and kung fu and all other kinds of things. So it was pretty cool. So you can start. And this is another one that really was true, near and dear to my heart. Starting a podcast with your family. You can talk about your family, or you can talk about family topics like babies and kids, different stages, how to travel with your kids. Because I remember traveling with my sons and, bringing certain things and what not to bring, because the first time we took my sons to Disney, we totally overdressed them. So we didn't need the sweatpants and all of that in August at Disney, but we didn't know. And that was 25 years ago. So a podcast about what to bring, what not to bring when traveling to certain parts of the area. If you're a parent of multiples, you could be a parent of twins or triplets. That's a whole nother topic. Wow. homeschooling, and even blended families. You can talk about technology, artificial intelligence, laptops, virtual reality, of course, video games, because that's really popular. So these are just some great topics or niches: food, personal development, time management, mental health, self-care, dating, relationships, married life, divorced life, married later in life, healthy eating habits, sleeping, right? Supplements. These are all great niche topics. Health and wellness and personal development. E-commerce. Now, e-commerce is great. Making money online. Product reviews. Product reviews are wonderful because businesses rely on those reviews, whether it's Amazon that you bought something from or AliExpress or anybody else. They want to know about the product, and people want to hear real life people talk about these products. So that's another great topic you can talk about. Freelancing, side gigging, right? Everything from DoorDash to Uber Eats. You can niche that down, travel, planes, trains, and automobiles. And getting back to what I was talking about with health, healthy eating, health and wellness, you can share the professional advice from doctors and nurse practitioners on topics such as weight loss supplements, diabetes, right? Because I'm a type 2 diabetic. So I read and I listen to anything and everything that has to do with diabetes. And recently I read that more than 10% of the U.S. population has some sort of diabetes. Yep. Pre-diabetic, type 1, type 2. So there's a big, big target audience out there. Getting healthy, staying healthy, quitting smoking, nutrition, yoga, fitness after 50. Just a few more great topics, and even those can be niched down a bit. So whether you have an active lifestyle, you love sports, boating, sailing, jogging, or even dog training, there are so many topics out there that I'm sure that you are passionate about. One or two that I talked about, or many of them. However, whatever you choose, make sure that you narrow the niche, narrow it down to reach a targeted audience. And that way you may have a smaller audience, but you'll have a much more loyal listener base, and they will tune in week after week, month after month, and year after year, just like you've been doing with the Delaware Blogger Podcast. So thank you guys again for listening to today's podcast episode number 330. Narrow your niche. And if I said anything that of interest to you, or you know someone that might be interested and said, I'm thinking about starting a podcast, please share this link with others, your family, your friend, your bae, and your boo too, and leave a review. Yes, reviews are important. So tune in every Saturday at 10 a.m. for another episode of the Delaware Blogger Podcast. And make sure, again, that you leave a review. Find and follow my show, all my social media platforms. My Linktree ID is A. Blake Enterprises, so you can check out everything else that I'm doing. So I'm wishing you and yours a beautifully blessed day. See ya. It's the GE Diva, a.k.a. the Delaware Blogger.